these are the children of Israel. When they cross over into Canaan, Joshua led them, right? Then after Joshua and the other leaders who were available at that time died off, the children of Israel started to stray away and mix in with the people who were in the land of Canaan, right? And they strayed away from God. So periodically, when they would get so bad, God would send a judge to bring them back to Him, right? And put them back on track of where they needed to be. So Samson is one of those judges. Now from last week's lesson, can somebody summarize last week's lesson for us?
That was the story, the very famous story about how he lost his power, how the woman, Delilah, used him, used the way she looked, used the way she moved and grew, and he basically was lusting after her, and she found the secret to his strength after pursuing that.
And what was the secret to his strength, and what happened after?
He was not allowed to cut his hair from birth, so that was the power of his strength. And while whatever she did to him, you don't know if she drugged him or what, but he was happy, whatever it was, and he would sleep on her lap or her knees, and someone came in and shaved his head.
Okay. And after he shaved his head, what happened? Go ahead, Brother Ross. Okay. Why didn't he have power?
Oh, God had left him.
God had left him. Okay. All right. And we said there were two things about Samson that stood out from last week's lesson. What were men and women?
You look at verse 24, when the whole scenario, it said they people saw him and praised their God.
Right.
You look at it and say their God is the Lord Jesus. So it's going to represent our God, it represents their God.
Who was called what?
Their God.
What was his name?
It said these people saw him and praised their God, but they say, our God has delivered. He didn't say his name.
And their God's name was what?
And our men are our enemy.
Look at verse 23.
Okay, 23 says, okay, the Lord of the Philistines gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon. Okay, their God.
Right. Dagon
Right,
was their God.
right, what I'm saying, verse 24 saying that when they were praising, that it was a lowercase g. I mean, that they were praising a different God than we praise.
They were praising Dagon.
Right, I know Draco.
Okay. All right. Samson's prayer. Let's look at that. Go ahead.
Yes, Sister Carter, he had shown good humility when he asked God to please remember me.
I can't really hear you.
And Sister Clark mentioned that his attitude had changed a bit because he humbly asked God to please remember him. He prayed and asked God to strengthen him and remember him because he knew that God had left him, but that was showing that God did return to him and he allowed him to get strength back and, put down the pillow. So.
Okay. Let's look at his prayer in verse 28. What does he pray for?
Strength.
Well,
And
now,
one more chance.
start at the beginning of his prayer, and let's see what he prays for.
Then Samson called to the Lord, saying, O Lord God, remember me. I
Oh,
pray."
hold on. Why do y'all think he asked the Lord to remember him?
He had forgiven.
Huh? Why do you think Samson asked God to remember him?
I guess he thought God had forgotten about him after he had disobeyed God about having the secret.
Yeah. Yeah, but why would the very first thing Samson prayed for is God remember me?
Well, the lesson is said that Samson had not spoken since he had his hair cut. So I don't know if he had not spoken to God, and this he was not speaking to man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right, if you've been gone a long time from somewhere, and you come back and you see somebody you know, one of the things you ask them is, do you remember me? Samson is referring back to when he was doing God's will,
Right.
okay? And when God left him, he was asking God to remember that he was once one of his children, okay?
Right.
And we know that because God had put him in place as a judge for the children of Israel. Okay, and then the second part of the prayer, he says what? Strengthen me, I pray.
I pray.
Okay? Just this once. Why do y'all think he just wanted to be strengthened this one time? Yeah. Okay? So he could get vengeance on the Philistine. He didn't like what was going on there.
Taking his sight.
Okay? And then the second part, the last part of his prayer, oh God, that I may with one blow take vengeance on the Philistines for mine 2 eyes. Okay? All right. Ma'am? Well, he knew he couldn't get his sight back. What he wanted to do was to get them for taking away his sight.
That's right.
And therein is where the selfishness shows up. Okay? All right, are there any other comments on the lesson?
It says right in that same area on page 126, in the commentary, he denotes that he doesn't think Samson really got it. That even because of the selfish prayer, he was praying to God. This was the deliverer of Israel. He could have said, free me. He didn't say that in here, but I was just thinking he could have said, oh Lord, please release me from this bondage. He had to die. He wanted to die. That's obvious. But he said, that I may take vengeance for my 2 eyes. He didn't say, deliver me from this, deliver me from my captors, kill everybody else, let me have another chance. He just wanted to go, but he wanted to take them out too. And in the same time, God was still glorified because he used Samson to punish the Philistines. So it all worked out anyway. But at the same time, the commentator was saying that Samson he just didn't get it. That, there was so much untapped resource that he could have been, but he just chose to die instead.
Mm-hmm. And one of the points of this lesson is that God continues to love us even when we do evil and depart from him.
Yes, sir.
He continues to love us. And if we pray to him, he will hear our prayers. If we repent and ask God to forgive us, he will forgive us. Okay? But Sister Green is right. Samson never fully got it. He never fully got it. He was only he had been so high and prayed so much that when he fell, it just changed his whole attitude. If he couldn't be Samson, basically he didn't want to be anybody. Okay, so that's why he didn't mind dying. Let's turn to page 128 and go through the questions. Question number 127. What did the Philistines do to Samson when they captured him?
They put it like that.
What did you say, Brother Cross? This is verse 21. That's where the answer is, 16:21. Okay? They put out his eyes, and they found him with
Bronze feathers. Bronze feathers.
what are y'all saying? Bronze feathers?
Feathers. Feathers. Feathers.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. Where did they take Samson? Where? What's significant about Gaza?
Something with the gate there.
All right. Y'all come on now. Y'all know this. What happened in Gaza?
It says when in Gaza, he uprooted and carted off Gaza's gate and said that the city was not secure as long as he was around.
Right. Y'all remember when Samson was in Gaza? He went into a harlot and they set a trap for him. They were going to take him at daylight, but Samson got up at midnight, went out, pulled up the post and the gates to the city, and carried it 40 miles away on a hill. And that was taking away the security of the city of Gaza, because anybody could go in and out as they pleased. Okay? What did the author tell us about Samson that gives us some hope? Samson had done all this wrong stuff. He disobeyed God. But what happened in this lesson that gives us hope? And when I say us, I'm talking about us as Christians. What gives us hope? What was the thing that happened in the lesson? Go ahead.
Even when we fall away into those things that we shouldn't, we can always go back to God.
Okay. All right. His hair began to grow back, and with his hair growing, that gave him strength back, right? So that tells us that God, even though we mistreat God, God still loves us, and He wants us to be saved, right? And that if we call on Him, He will hear our prayers. Okay? Portion number 4. Whom did the Philistines credit for Samson's capture? Their God. What was his name? Dagon. Okay?
There you go.
Yeah. What did the people want Samson to do for them? Perform. Okay? Does it say in the lesson what he did to perform for them? Okay? What, portion number 6, what does Samson ask his guy to allow him to do? Let me see the microphone. You got it right there. Maybe you don't. All right, Brother Cross said, okay. All right. So Samson asked the guy to allow him to put his hand on the pillars that were holding the temple up, right?
Right.
Why was it necessary for him to ask the young man to allow him to do that?
Because he couldn't see.
He couldn't see where they were, right?
He just wanted to feel them. That's what he's saying. One on the left and on the right is what he did. He was placed between the two buildings of the hill.
Right.
What held all the law and the crowd.
Okay. All right. So in some respects, Samson seems to have grown in that he was a little cunning in the way he asked this young man to do that. Right? He said he wanted to lean on. He didn't tell him that he wanted to know where they were so he could destroy the temple. He said, show me where they are, or take me to where they are so I can lean on them.
Right.
Samson learned something from Delilah, didn't he? Okay. Number 7. How many individuals were present in the Philistine temple?
About 3,000.
About 3,000. Okay.
It's a lot of people.
All right. And question number 8. For what did Samson pray?
God to remember him and to give him strength.
That he may, well, he asked him to give him strength. There's one time that he may take vengeance on the Philistines for his eyes.
That's
But I think the most important thing is to remember him and give him strength. Because if he did not,
I agree.
okay, if he didn't give him strength, he couldn't have destroyed the people.
Right. Question number 9. Who came and retrieved Samson's body? Okay. What was the significance of his family coming to retrieve his body? Okay. What was the significance?
Wasn't that a tradition though? Because they said it was from his father's side, his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him. So if he was buried in the tomb of his father, that I would assume that it was just a tradition. That was something that they did.
That was a tradition. but he was in Gaza when this happened, right?
Yes.
What is the significance of his family in going into Gaza to get him?
Well, they came and got him and gave him a bed.
Okay,
His family loved him.
His family.
right. Despite all he had done to disobey God and bring dishonor upon his family, they still loved him enough to go into a dangerous situation
Right.
and retrieve his body, right?
Right.
Because Gaza was occupied by the Philistines, right? So for him to go to Gaza, for them to go to Gaza and get him, that was something major. Because they could have been attacked by the Philistines while they were in Gaza, right? All right. But they loved him enough where they wanted to go and get him and give him a proper burial.
Right.
Discussion questions. What can Christians do to avoid falling victim to the temptations of pride and arrogance?
Not be selfish and, not forget, who all things belong to. He gives us these things that we need, that God has provided all things.
Okay?
Not, be humble and not to
Right.
brag on yourself or your own strength. You get things received from God.
Okay? Anyone else?
Remember, when you do mess up, that you can still call on the Lord, and He loves us, and if we truly repent, we believe that, and we truly repent, we still may be punished or suffer consequences, but He does hear us. He does hear us. And it's possible to get some relief if it's His will.
Right. And if we always keep God first in our lives, we won't succumb to arrogance, right? Because Samson thought he was more than any other man. He had every right to think that, but he should have known that his power was not of his own, it was of God. Okay?
But Clark, that's, his attitude is no more different from some of the attitudes that we as Christians have today. When we achieve something, we think it's us that did it, when in fact it was God who made it all possible for us. Sometimes we get a little selfish and think it's like, I did this, and we don't give God the glory.
Yeah, this Samson disease has been around a long time, and it's still here, and there's no cure for it. There is a cure, but people won't use it half the time. I see the other classes coming in. I do want someone to read the application note.
Although all hopes and lost when Samson was in the hands of the Philistines, God was not done with him. The text provides a glimmer of hope when it mentions the regrowth of Samson's hair, something that could be dismissed as an insignificant action opponent to the mighty hand of God at work. Let us never overlook the small reminders of God's concern and love for us. He continues to care for his children, even when things seem as if they're at their worst. Samson's fall reminds us of the truth of 1 Corinthians 10:12. In that passage, the Apostle Paul wrote, "Therefore, let him who thinks he stands take heed, lest he fall." We must not allow pride and arrogance to convince us to trust in our own abilities more than we trust in God's care. Perhaps the writer of Proverbs put it well, pride goes before the destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall.
Okay? That concludes our lesson. Next week, we will, subject of the lesson will would, pass your mics out. Lauren, would you just with the word of prayer?
Hallelujah, praise. God, most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for the nice Sunday school lesson. Lord, we ask the blessed church as a whole. Bless the brother, sister, your family, how you